Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking about communication. Now, some objectives that I want to cover today is what is the importance of communication within a workplace? What are some effective internal communication strategies? What are some external communication strategies within the workplace? We're also going to analyze the intercultural communications. And finally, we'll be discussing proper ways to provide and receive feedback. For starters, what is communication? Communication is exchanging information from one entity to another. Now, there are various ways of communicating. They can be both verbal and nonverbal. Now, communication is an important piece within a workplace because it allows the managers, as well as employees, to perform basic management functions, such as planning, organizing, leading a team, and controlling what goes on within the project. Now, communication is a building block for successful companies. It allows you to kind of properly convey as well as understand what needs to be done and also have a clearer sight of what goals that the company needs to attain. Now we're going to talk about effective internal communication strategies. First things first is having open team meetings. I think consistent team meetings where you're bringing everybody, say for example, in one department together and having them kind of discuss things or kind of issues they may have and allow them to feel free to share that information. I think is important because it allows people to kind of share their point of views without any restrictions. The next one, which is the most popular one, is email messaging. Email messaging is good because it allows you to have a log to document, have a history of back and forth information being sent out or being shared amongst each other within the organization. The next one is managers having one-on-one meetings. I think this is important because this allows the manager to build rapport with the employees as well as the employees develop a relationship with their manager, having an understanding of each other. With them being the hierarchy, higher up on the totem pole, it allows them to kind of connect as far as him understanding what it takes from their level of the work, and it allows the employee to understand what type of responsibilities that the manager has on their level of the work. Now, the next thing is having presentations, not just any old PowerPoint presentation, but having presentations that incorporates visuals and sounds. I think that keeps the audience attached. That will keep your team engaged when it comes to discussing a topic, an idea, or as far as any direction that the company is headed towards. Now, within communicating, it is important to use simple words in nonverbal communication. Just kind of keeping things simple, not over explaining something, keeping it straight to the point. I think this is important because when you kind of veer off as far as the scope of what needs to be done or the task at hand, that's when errors can come about because there are certain words that are being used that are distracting the whole sentence as far as what needs to be translated across. To continue on, it's important to listen to your team members internally. I think every opinion is very important. There's not a wrong question. There's not a bad question. Per se. I think having your team being able to share any thoughts or any questions that they may have, it allows to have a better understanding as far as what responsibilities or expectation that you may have or the company may have for them. Now, next thing is you want to create a receptive atmosphere. What that means is that you want to create an atmosphere where everyone can kind of talk with one another. That John can talk to Juan can talk to Beth, and Beth can talk to Said with no problems. Being able to kind of share different things with each other, being able to connect. I think the big thing is the connection when it comes to effectively communicating into the workplace. Next thing is always using the proper tone. Even if you may be upset or disappointed, I think keeping that proper tone will keep a healthy environment as far as when it comes to communicating and connecting with your team members. Also, you want to kind of approach every conversation with an open mind. I think especially it starts with the manager or supervisor or higher management, that when it comes to hearing a conversation or hearing an idea from your employees or anyone that's on your team. You kind of want to hear it with a clear mind. You want to kind of take in the information they're trying to tell you, because you want to kind of you don't want to misinterpret it. You want to kind of understand it the proper way. And finally, is respecting each other and accepting all feedback from coming down from the manager down to the employees, from the employees growing up. I think feedback is good because it kind of shows you what you're doing right and what things you need to work on. And with feedback too, it also allows your team members to help, when willing to help you in some areas that you need help improving. Now, external communication strategies focus on directly to the consumer, the customer. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can go about doing this. Now, first off is advertisement, using radio ads, video or visual advertisement, because this allows you to kind of convey that message as far as what your company stands for, or the quality of the brand or the product that you're trying to sell. Also, going to trainings, conducting trainings, going to trade shows and events, having a pop-up shop, I think is also an effective strategy. It allows people to kind of, it kind of allows you to kind of invite new targets, or open and get feedback from maybe people that you weren't targeting in the first place. Also, I think another strategy is promoting benefits and features of the product. What that means is kind of having brochures, having little pamphlets, having little fun facts about your product, because I think what it does is that it builds the value of your product. It kind of gives the consumer an insight as far as what are the benefits that they're reaping from purchasing your item. Also, direct marketing through their various channels, such as business partners, distributors, and suppliers, kind of going through their partners as far as trying to convey that message, or have them convey that message through their products or through their brands, allows you to kind of touch some waters, kind of be able to meet indirectly some of your targets as far as potential new customers, or even current customers that you already have. And then finally is just email messaging. Like I said, in today's world, emails is very powerful. So kind of sending ads out about your company, short, interesting ads, just kind of give basic info about the brand and what kind of things you offer, I think is some things that could be helpful as far as taking your organization to the next level. Intercultural communication is communication between different cultures and social groups. This allows the company to kind of understand a lot of different languages, as well as make themselves accustomed with people from different places. I believe this is big because globalization is increasing, where expanding your company to new orders or new territory takes your company to the next level. It allows you to do a lot of different things, such as innovate, maybe cut costs, as well as make you more effective, or make your product more efficient for the consumer. I think this is important because having the understanding, I think, is the main thing, or the first step, as far as what is out there in the world, and also what is needed in the world. And based off the product that you're offering, how will it benefit somebody that may not think this product that may not have the idea that it can benefit them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think it's imperative that as a manager, as a company, learn about who's on their team, learn about where they're from, their background, do some research on them, find out what's currently going on in that country, what type of issues that they think, what type of things they're missing or they're lacking, because this kind of it makes your core tighter, it kind of opens your eyes, it makes you aware of what's going on in the world. Lastly, we're going to talk about feedback. Feedback is a vital tool within the workplace. It's important because it allows you to kind of find out how well you're doing. Not necessarily as far as the work on hand, but what type of non-verbal communications, or what type of behavior you're kind of giving out or feeding off within the team. I think this is important because it gives you a heads up as far as what things you're doing well and what things you need to work on. I think also it makes you feel important within the team because it shows that everybody wants you to succeed, so you want to make sure that you're headed in the right direction, or you're giving forth the proper efforts. Um, Also, I think with feedback, it allows not just only managers but team members to kind of appreciate one another, kind of like acknowledge you as far as what type of things you bring to the team that is very important, and it's key. Um, and lastly, I think with feedback is that it's important to kind of with every need to work areas or areas that are lacking. I think it's important to always try to provide a solution or an opinion as far as what that person can do or what that team can do to get better. But overall, I feel like communication is everything, and I think it's the only fuel that would keep a well machine moving, or keep the company successful within this market. Um, Now, this is the final end of my presentation, and I thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I will reply back as soon as possible. But here are my references. Here's some articles. There's a lot of articles out there on communication. I kind of want to hear your viewpoint on it. And have a good night.